Hello and welcome to Unprofessional Engineering. My name is James.
You got Luke.
Luke, today we're going to look at something very cryptic.
What are we talking about?
Cryptocurrencies. Everybody's talking about it.
Everybody.
It seems like everyone in the world is now rich, other than me.
Even Uncle Troy was talking about it a couple weeks ago.
Our good Uncle Troy was telling us how rich he is because of the Bitcoin explosion.
Meanwhile, he probably lost like about $5,000. Well, no, it dropped and went back. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, anyways, I don't really know what it is, so...
I do now.
Well, yeah, now I do, but I didn't as of like yesterday. But now I think I do. So how about this? A quick breakdown of what is cryptocurrency? Because apparently Bitcoin isn't the only one out there.
I like that.
Yeah, okay.
Shoot.
Similar to money as we know it, it's a virtual currency though. So it's like money, you buy stuff with it, but it just kind of exists on the interwebs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not backed by a government, which makes it kind of interesting, and that makes it a decentralized form of money. So everyone else has like the dollar or the pound.
I feel like that makes it shady though.
Well, that's the thing that they say is that one of the big benefits is that it really doesn't get tracked and people don't know who's buying what, and it makes it great for illicit uses.
Yeah, dark web. Silk
web.
Road apparently like.
What is Silk Road?
Silk Road is a dark web site, and
how do you know this,
It's actually
Luke?
Silk Road 3.0 because they shut down the first and second versions of it.
Mom, I want you to know I'm not the one talking about this. This is all Luke.
But Silk Road is basically the dark web. It's basically where people buy illegal drugs online,
really?
Primarily, and the majority of the purchases are done, from what I understand in my research, with not just Bitcoin, but they're done with cryptocurrency.
But with drugs.
No, they're done with cryptocurrency.
Oh,
So
cryptocurrency.
can't be tracked.
Wow.
And there's also legal things because you're not actually using currency because none of it's considered currency. It's considered property. So.
Wow. See, I didn't know anything about this dark web. I only use the interwebs for good intentions.
Good and wholesome things.
Wholesome things like emailing from my AOL account. Yes.
I was just thinking.
Anyways, one of the other appealing things about cryptocurrency is that it won't be manipulated, in theory. Kind of like
in theory.
Our money is. Our money.
Yeah, the thing that is weird about it, and even the U.S. dollar now isn't backed by gold. So up until a certain point,
well, yeah.
For every dollar bill there was in circulation, there was a certain amount of gold equivalent to back that.
Right.
Because it's just paper, right?
Correct.
And that doesn't exist anymore. So now our paper is literally paper. And because
I don't know if it's paper,
because
it's some sort of
because
material.
It's a dollar, they just say it's a dollar. Like they could say, oh, that dollar is now $2 if they wanted to. Not that they would.
I feel like dollars are more like a fibery substance than a paper. Anyways, how about Bitcoins? They're the most famous of the cryptocurrencies.
They are.
Could you tell me about them?
So Bitcoin started out in 2009.
It's a long time ago.
It is. And the crazy thing, here's this. I was doing some research on the value of Bitcoin.
Uh-huh.
Up until like 2013, you could buy Bitcoin for like $9. You could get a whole entire, not a partial Bitcoin, but a whole entire Bitcoin for $9.
Yeah.
Yesterday, they were $15,000.
That's funny.
Which is bananas. Okay, so back in 2009, and basically the way Bitcoin started was there was an email sent that was from, I can't even pronounce this guy's, Satoshi Nakamoto. Is basically the architect of the underlying technical system that really all cryptocurrency is based on. And what it was a system of, bartering, because it wasn't actual currency, but it was a way to buy things. It was a way to have transactions that didn't require money.
Especially with international transactions.
Yes. And the crazy thing is, this Satoshi, supposedly, like if you look it up, there's an actual person named that was born in 1975 that lives in Japan, but they think that's probably just a farce. They just made up the name. They think it might be a group of people. Actually, just last year, some intern for Elon
I saw
said
that.
Elon Musk was the guy that invented the architecture for Bitcoin.
He shot that one down pretty quickly,
But
though.
there's been literally hundreds of people that have been speculated as being the originators of Bitcoin.
I would like to go back through all of the episodes we've ever done and see how many of them we reference Elon in. because it has to be like 75%.
Well, I feel like he should probably be sponsoring us at some point.
I feel
Just
like
saying.
we are building out his whole, I don't know, profile.
I
for
do.
him.
I feel like
We're making him famous.
He gets a lot of free marketing from us.
Probably.
Is what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Anymore. More Bitcoin.
Yeah. So a little bit more Bitcoin. So back in 2014, so just a few years ago, they actually finally said that it was not currency but property. So up until
Seems
2014,
very strange to me.
which is really weird.
Yeah.
So you do have to pay taxes. There are taxing and legal ramifications with it, but it's not a currency. So it's kind of crazy.
So it's taxed differently because it's property?
It is taxed differently. So you pay like gains on it, like you would like stock almost, is the way that it works. So, but pretty crazy thing, and this is probably the craziest thing of all that I've seen. So back in 2015, Mt. Gox, G-O-X, it was the largest Bitcoin exchange. They lost. Now this was 2015, so this was before Bitcoin was at $15,000. So they lost $473 million because someone just took it.
What do you mean just took it?
They just took it.
Took their Bitcoin?
They took and there is literally no way to get your Bitcoins back. Like, the company or whoever or whatever
like
they
stole
are.
their iPhone that had it on there, and it was like, well, sorry
no,
about
so
your
they
luck.
were an exchange.
Well, I
so,
get it.
Yeah, so
I was trying to simplify for the simple man listening out there.
We don't have anybody simple, James.
probably
Every one
not
of our
true.
listeners is a genius if they're listening to us. So, and the thing is, you don't get it back. It's not like FDIC insured.
Yeah, it's true.
It's nothing.
It's just there.
So if you had like $200,000 in Bitcoin sitting at Mt. Gox, guess what? You don't have, and you bought it at some point with cash.
Right.
So you used a
You're out
U.S.
that
dollar
cash.
to buy it. You're out however much cash that
Right.
was.
I did think that it's interesting, and we mentioned this, that there's no public log, so the names of buyers and sellers are not revealed.
There is a log, but it's not
There
public.
is, but it's not public. There is a public log,
But it
doesn't have the
names. Yeah,
names,
yeah,
right? But all sorts of sneakiness can go on with that, which I like. But if you want to learn more, you can go to bitcoin.org. It's not one of those .com sites.
Yeah, those .coms are shady.
Yeah, and learn more about it. A couple of Bitcoin stories, which I think were funny. Everybody's heard about the person who bought or tried to buy like a pizza or two pizzas with
I heard that one.
10,000 Bitcoins back in the day or something ridiculous. Another one that I heard just a little while ago, it was on TV, I don't know how accurate it is, but Lily Allen, she's a singer. She's the sister of Theon Greyjoy in Game of Thrones, like
Gotcha.
the real life sister.
Gotcha.
She
Gotcha.
got offered a whole bunch of Bitcoin to perform some sort of concert somewhere one time, like back in the day.
Okay.
And she said, of course, no, because it's this worthless garbage. And if she would have taken it, it would have been something like some ridiculous billions of dollars now. Or at least when it
crazy.
was at like 19,000.
So-
So that's awesome.
So I have a Bitcoin story.
Ooh. I think this is what people really listen to.
I
us
have
for,
a
so-
personal Bitcoin story. So
How do you have a personal Bitcoin story?
Well, no, it was basically
Go ahead, tell me it, and then I'll decide.
Well,
how
no,
I like it.
it's not a long story.
Go
So
ahead.
I vaguely remember. So this was back right about 2012. A friend of mine was telling me all about Bitcoin. He's like, you got to buy these Bitcoins. This is the next big thing. And I wasn't really doing anything with stock, and I didn't have like a ton of extra money just like laying around to just go buy stuff. And he actually bought, I think it was like $100 worth of Bitcoin. So he probably got 10 Bitcoins somewhere in that
Wow.
neighborhood back in 2012. So he bought somewhere around 12. I don't know how he bought them, just because back then, I don't know if the system was as sophisticated. You kind of needed to be a computer geek to know how to buy Bitcoin back then,
okay.
and I'm not.
Now
a
it's very
computer-
easy,
Now they
right.
have ATMs. So I actually missed an opportunity back in 2012, and the idea was, he's like, oh, just give me $100 and I'll buy you some Bitcoin. And when I looked at the chart last night, in 2012, the highest Bitcoin was $9.78
Wow.
a Bitcoin. So I could have got like 10 Bitcoins.
That stinks
That in
for
today's
you.
market, 10 Bitcoins would be $150,000.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
I never had that opportunity. Well, I mean, I guess I could have just gone and bought it, but
So real quick,
oh boy, hurry up.
not Bitcoin, but the processor that was inside the PlayStations. A friend of mine bought stock in that company before the PlayStations and all the gaming consoles got super popular.
Okay.
This was back whenever I was in school.
That was way before my time.
Yeah. So I was in college. So this was 22.
So I was still in diapers.
Yeah, basically. Okay. You were still in utero.
Yeah.
So this is 20 some years ago, and he bought like thousands of dollars, and it was like penny stock back then. And then obviously because of PlayStation, Xboxes, this particular processor company just like went through the roof. And
now he's rich.
And again, I didn't buy any.
Good
Sorry.
job, Luke. All right, don't go to Luke for investment advice. So, since we have not been very good today, we're going to take a break for a word from our sponsor.
I thought we were excellent today, James.
Yeah, not on topic, I'll say. Anyways, word from our sponsor.
We have some?
We don't.
Elon, he better hook us up.
I tried to get in touch with Satoshi Nakamoto, but he did not get back, or she did not get back to me.
He's pretty shady.
Yeah, for sure. But I do have a number of shout-outs, which makes me feel good. So, first off, Bob. I don't use last names. Bob, I'm giving you a shout-out. Thank you for telling us that our new file format that we're uploading to SoundCloud doesn't work for you. So we're going to go back to the old school MP3. So we'll be fixing that for you.
Thank you, Bob. My guess is he's a Robert.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, his email said Bob.
It did, okay.
Number 2, Katrina. She emailed.
Hey, dog.
She's an engineer, so that's cool.
Nice.
And she listens to us and loves us because why wouldn't she?
Of course.
And she was actually just killing time before vacation as well, which I appreciated because I said the same thing. She gave us a good idea, like looking into material properties, like the stuff they use for supercars and other stuff. She also works with Going Green, so go her. Another one, Michael, new subscriber, sending him stickers.
Shout-outs?
I'm going to give one more shout out to, I saw this review. We're up to 29 reviews, which is great. PDG is the name, and it was just a great...
It was a good review?
I was reading it, and I was like, this review's awesome, and then I realized that I know who he is. So it made it a little less great, but it was still awesome and made me happy. And then last, Adam from CAD Noobs. Always coming through with great ideas for episodes. This time, did not give us gold. He decided that we should do an episode about how shopping carts are made.
Oh.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it yet, Adam, but
Unless
I'm feeling
it's like
like
something amazing that we're missing.
Right. I'm feeling like it's not all there.
Like it's wire that they
bend.
and
weld.
tack weld together.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they run into
and then
my
they
car.
give you the worst wheels possible that don't work. Okay, anyways, let's move on.
Yes.
So there are different types of cryptocurrency out there.
Actually, James, did you know,
goodness.
listed on CoinMarketCap, there are over 1,300 different cryptocurrencies.
I did not know that.
I was shocked by that.
That is a lot.
Now, granted, I'd say
Granite?
a third of them. Am I using that? Is this another one where I'm using it?
Let's not worry about it.
So, although... Like, of the 1,300, I'd say like a third of them had no value listed.
Okay.
So it was literally like you and I decided, hey, we're going to make a James and Luke cryptocurrency.
Right.
And no one actually bought any.
If we knew how to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Here's the top 6 that I saw. And I mostly just wanted to judge the names because I thought that would be fun.
They're weird names. I don't get
So,
the names.
Litecoin, created by someone from MIT.
I saw that one.
Google engineer as well. Ethereum. This was one of my
it's
favorites.
Ethereum.
Yeah.
It's
it
a
sounds like
hard
it's from
E.
a super book, comic book.
Sounds like a movie.
Ethereum. Yeah, that's true. Second largest market cap after Bitcoin at 41.4 bill. Ripple's up there as well. Ripple has 1.26 billion.
Okay.
Zcash. I think that one's just lazy.
Yeah.
Dash. Don't like Dash, but it was previously known as Darkcoin, which was way cooler.
Did you know we have a coworker whose son's name is Dash?
Yes, we do.
That is the coolest name.
It is a good name.
Sorry, just thought of that.
Monero.
Didn't hear that one.
And then there's a bunch of other ones like PrimeCoin, Namecoin, Quark, Mastercoin, Aurora Coin. Why
coin? I guess
I feel like
started
Bitcoin probably created like some name value to that. So everyone else just added on.
Another funny story. There was a coin that was Kanye coin. They spelled it like Kanye West.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, my computer just shut off. It was spelled like Kanye, and Kanye West got wind of this, and
he sued them.
Sent them a cease and desist, and here they changed the name of it. But there was a Kanye West. They spelled
That's
it with
pretty
a K.
awesome.
And apparently it was blatant copyright infringement on him.
So be it. All right. So how do you go about getting Bitcoin?
I'm assuming you go to the store.
You go to the store. You go to the Bitcoin store. But first off, you need somewhere to put that. So you get your Bitcoin wallet out. So again, if you go to bitcoin.org, you can quickly sign up for this or go through the process of making accounts or whatever, or learning about it. But you can go and use some different wallet options like CoPay or Bread Wallet on Android or iOS, Airbitz, or my personal favorite, Armory, which is the most mature and most safe for you to be using. You snuggling in close to me now?
I am.
Oh, I
am.
like that. I keep bopping around today. I'm sorry. So then, after you get your wallet, you go buy some Bitcoin on the exchange. And you were saying that one place got all their Bitcoin stolen from them.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of different things. Like Coinbase is one of the world's largest Bitcoin exchangers. Indacoin is another one, another global platform. No registration, available in 200 countries. Perfect for all your shady doings, it sounds like.
So the interesting thing and I didn't know this, I was under the impression, because it's called Bitcoin, like I think a coin is like a small value, but like one Bitcoin, like today, is like $15,000, right? But you don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin. So right now, Bitcoins, they can be divided up to 8 decimal places, and even smaller. Like right now, they only go to 8 decimal places for Bitcoin transactions, and apparently, I guess they can divide that even smaller if necessary. But right now,
I read what the smallest was. What was it? 1/100th or 1/1000th or something?
0.00000001.
Oh, they can go that small?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's really small.
Yeah.
That's like nothing. That's still valueless, basically.
It is.
Okay. So Kraken also is another one for Bitcoin exchange. And then also you can accept Bitcoin as payment for your goods or services. So for your, I don't know, whatever things you might do, Luke.
Whatever I do on Silk Road.
Whatever you do on Silk Road, you could accept that. Or lastly...
Don't Google Silk Road, whatever you do.
I was thinking about that, and I'm like, I'll have to do it on my iPad.
Yeah, don't do it.
Lastly, you can mine Bitcoins, which is where all the fun happens, I think. Fun.
If you're a nerd,
If you're a nerd like me, it's
and a
fun.
nerd that likes money.
So before we get into how to mine Bitcoins, I want to know who came up with the picture that you see on the internet of like the goldish Bitcoin coin
Like
with the B on it, and then the back has stuff.
Looks like there's circuits going through it or something.
I don't know who came up with it, but somehow it just got accepted as this is what Bitcoin looks like, even though there is no physical Bitcoin.
And the other thing too is I'm going to say there's something shady about Bitcoin, because they say it's decentralized, so there's not one person or organization kind of controlling it. But that's a perfect example. Who made the decision that that was going to be the logo for Bitcoin?
Elon did.
Elon.
Yeah. I don't want to interrupt us again, so since we're kind of at a break anyways, how about we take a break for this week's Luke's Terrible Engineering?
Okay, this one happened to me today. So we are in sunny Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
oh, it is
where
so nice.
It was a whopping 5 degrees this morning on my commute in. And my terrible engineering is Toyota Tacoma's windshield washer squirter thingy that shoots the fluid on the thing.
This must be bad because you are just a fanboy.
I love Toyotas. I love Tacomas. Man. I love everything about this vehicle. But the fact that I have the super cold weather windshield washer fluid. I have the juice. The fact that there is no way for them to somehow shield and I even scraped with a toothpick the little hole, because sometimes you get a little exterior ice on it, and I put a little toothpick in there and scraped it out, and it took until halfway in on my commute, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes before it warmed up enough so the frozen part was in the line somewhere. I've never had that with any other vehicle ever except for this vehicle.
Wow.
And it's happened every winter when it gets around like below 10 degrees.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear
that. Did yours
that.
work this morning?
I didn't use it this morning, but it worked at -7 degrees on the way home from New Year's Eve.
I had to stop at a gas station and borrow a squeegee before I got onto the Parkway.
All right, so other than Tacoma's being terrible, sorry about that. Let's move
Yeah.
on to how to mine Bitcoin. How about that? Fun
Yes.
fact, there is a finite number of Bitcoin out there.
Do you know how many it is?
21 million.
Why? I don't know
Ever.
why they chose
That will ever-
21 million.
But all 21 million isn't out there yet because
No.
you can still mine it.
2140 is
21,
one.
that's what they expect, 2140. I feel like with this boom, that might become sooner, though.
See, it's too expensive for people to get in, I think.
It
And
is,
it's so
it is.
volatile, I think people are scared.
Yeah, so mining, you say we can mine for Bitcoin, right? That's the lingo they use to how you get and discover new Bitcoin, just like finding gold. There's gold in them there hills, Luke. No?
You're the
This
worst.
is the gold that people are looking for. Anyways, using one computer to mine now, or like maybe a few years ago, will take almost 98 years. So now it'll take probably like 100 years for you to mine one single Bitcoin. So
You mean like the computer like we're sitting in front
it
of
just
right
sits
now?
there and crank like a good machine.
A good machine takes that long?
Yeah, because it's so difficult to solve these problems, and I'll have you get into the mathematical
Yeah.
problems here in a bit. But they've created mining pools where a bunch of people join together and they get into a pool and get paid based on their contributions to solving this problem. So they get little fractions of the Bitcoin as it gets solved. Of course, there's a fee to join said pool.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So the mathematical problems are called what? Hashes, right? And then the hash rate is the speed at which the problem is being solved. So your pool works together to improve your hash rate to solve the problem more quickly. And if you do, you get rewarded with Bitcoin.
And actually, the interesting thing about these pools and these individuals that do this, so originally they were using just regular computers, right? And it took forever. And then they found out like back in 2000, 10, 11, 12, 13, hey, we could use graphics cards to do this. But the problem was graphics
the
cards, they did it
GPUs
faster, but
flew.
they got so hot and used so much energy, they just didn't work. So they actually developed specific processors just for mining Bitcoins. And you can buy these little computers, and all it does is solve these hashes and does the syncing. And we'll talk about blockchains here in a minute, but it basically just solves these math problems, does the syncing specifically and only for mining Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Which is bananas.
Yeah, it is.
And they're not super expensive. They're like $100 per little unit. But usually you buy like 20 of these things and you got like $20,000 in this one unit, and it still takes forever to solve.
Wow. That's interesting. I didn't know. I haven't seen those. I should look those up.
Yeah, whenever I was doing the research, it actually just looks like a fan with like
Now all of your Facebook ads are these little boxes.
So crazy. It's all it is. I'm getting.
I just looked up something for my lawnmower on my iPad, and the next day I went on to my computer and it was in my Facebook stream, and that freaks me out. But anyways, could you tell me about this mining, the mathematical problems that we're solving?
Yeah. So first of all, why do you mine?
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
a great
whenever
question.
you said you had a buddy that did some mining, maybe.
Correct.
And I was like, why would someone mine for these Bitcoins? And what I thought the mining was people were stealing Bitcoins that were floating out there in space. I thought this was like Super Mario. And he was stealing coins and going to get coins. In reality, miners of Bitcoins, they're basically working to make money to get Bitcoin. So the way mining works is there is this giant ledger. It's called a blockchain. And a blockchain is what controls, I'll say not the legality, but they control all the transactions. So there's thousands and thousands of people all over the world that have individual ledgers. And the example that I heard was, imagine we're all playing poker and we don't have money and we decide we want to play for money. I don't trust you to keep the ledger.
Clearly not.
But if I keep it and you keep it and all the other people at the table keep a ledger of who won, who lost, and then at the end of the game we compare ledgers, we'll see that you cheated because that's what you do. And then we use the other ledgers to say, yes, this is accurate. So that's what the blockchain is. And what these miners do is a combination of controlling the ledger to make sure that all the transactions are accurate. That's why it takes 10 minutes for transactions to be confirmed. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing they do is they solve these mathematical hash problems. And these hash problems are basically guessing. So if you imagine the answer is 10, you can get to 10 a ton of different ways. It could be 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 all the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
It could be 5 + 5. So that's the thing that takes all the computing power. And when they solve that math problem and they sync, they add a block to the ledger, and then they get paid for that block, basically.
Right.
So they get
Or
paid.
the pool gets
yeah,
that
or the
block.
pool gets paid, or whoever gets paid. So
Right.
the reason you're mining is because the only way Bitcoins are generated is they are given to miners for rewards for solving the problem and adding to the ledger and adding to the blockchain. So that's why you mine a Bitcoin.
Right. And so with that, every time you solve a block, it becomes harder, basically.
Yeah.
So after you solve 210,000 blocks, meaning everyone in the world,
Yes.
they have that number. So it takes even longer for you to solve the next group.
Oh, yeah, because-
and longer and longer. That's why it's going to take till 2140 to solve
and
all these.
also, just think about the computing power we talked about that people are using today, because you have to solve the entire ledger from the initial beginning of Bitcoin.
The initial beginning.
The initial beginning in 2000. That's why syncing takes 10 minutes.
The ceiling is the roof.
The ceiling is the roof.
Okay.
So, you're so mean to me
I
sometimes. You're the
New Year's,
worst.
my resolution is not going
My
well.
resolution is to say you're the worst as often as possible.
Yeah, we got great reviews about that.
Okay.
Okay,
Are we
couple
done with
things.
mining? 'Cause I had
No,
a couple more things.
one more thing.
Okay,
Two
shoot.
more things. The current number of attempts it takes to find a correct key. Do you want to guess?
I didn't do this. I'm going to say 10 million.
1,789,546,951.05.
I'm going to get none of that time back. Why don't you just say like 1.7 billion?
Almost 1.8 billion. So despite this many attempts, the Bitcoin reward, which I saw as 25 Bitcoin, but I also saw it as 50. So I'm not sure
I saw it
which.
at 25.
Okay, so we'll go with 25 Bitcoin reward for solving this problem is given out every 10 minutes. That's nuts. It's going through these calculations. Every 10 minutes, they're giving out another 25 of these. Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Yeah. All right, so that's all I really had to add about that, just because I thought that was some crazy stuff. But the other thing you talked about very briefly was the transactions.
Yeah.
So you also get paid a very small fee
Yeah.
for verification of Bitcoin transactions.
Yeah.
So the more and more people start using Bitcoins to buy stuff, like I saw you could even buy Microsoft products with
Yes.
it now. More of these verifications need done, so your processors can be used to do that. So as an example, if Luke's trying to buy a TV from me, which I obviously got off the back of a truck because, I mean, that's the only
where you buy
reason.
your stuff.
Right. In order to make sure that Luke's Bitcoin is genuine, the miners will begin to verify the transaction. So not
And
just
multiple
one,
people verify. It's not just one
right,
person
not
verifying.
one individual verifies this. It takes a whole bunch of people. And the transactions are gathered into a box with a virtual padlock, and then they solve this padlock and verify that it's all good and that your Bitcoin's legit.
And that's why it takes
And
time
that's
for
why it takes time.
transactions.
So the more people there are, the faster it happens.
And supposedly, like when you read like the FAQ on Bitcoin's page about the benefits, they say that's one of the benefits is it's basically unhackable from outside entities, because if thousands of people are controlling the ledger, you would literally have to know who each and every one of those people are controlling the ledger and somehow bribe them or hack them to do this. So there's virtually no way to hack the ledger.
Very cool.
So that's kind of neat, I thought.
One quick thing about how to get started mining. First, Google the Bitcoin profitability calculator and determine if it's even profitable for you.
I think I did, and it's not.
No, so the one thing I saw that might work is solar power to get your electricity for free, assuming you already have the hardware.
Yeah.
So then it's basically free. You're just running.
Yeah.
And second, if you live in an apartment where the electricity is included in your bill,
Yep.
Boom,
Just set
crank
up,
it up,
set up
baby.
a little station in the back.
so then make sure you have your wallet that we talked about set up, get your hardware in place, download the free Bitcoin mining software.
Yeah.
You can find
That's
it
the cool
easily
thing.
now.
All this software's free.
Yeah, choose to join a mining pool if you really want to do that. I think it's a 2% fee usually. And then become rich, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah. Fun fact, though. If you
I
go,
like you wrote become rich.
I do. That is in my notes.
That's great.
Fun fact, go on Instructables and you can find out how to start mining with a Raspberry Pi.
I have a Raspberry Pi.
I was thinking about getting a few more and putting together like a little Raspberry Pi mining farm and maybe mining one of the crappy cryptocurrencies. Like get 100 of each of the really junky ones and hope
just
one
like
of them
let it
hits.
sit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because clearly Bitcoin, it's not going to happen. All right. So, anyways, what else do you have, Luke?
So I got a couple things on just like, and you said like to get started. There's certain things you got to think about. So number one, the Bitcoin price in particular is crazy volatile. Like I said, back in 2013, this stuff was $9 a coin. Now it's 15,000 a coin. Just this month alone, the low point was $11,000 per Bitcoin.
Now, hold on. You say just this month, meaning the 3 days of January?
No, I'm sorry. All of December. I don't mean January.
Okay.
So the past 30 days, it was the lowest point was 11,000. The highest point was like 19. So literally in a 30-day period, this thing had almost doubled. So it's crazy volatile. And so what drives that volatility? A couple theories. The one that they propose is demand, and that's it. So people want Bitcoins, and then they produce them, and then they sell them. Because there's a limited number, whenever more people want them, they can charge more for them. So that's just basic economics,
Sure.
right? But there's a theory that there's a handful of early adopters in Bitcoin. And these are like, there's maybe 1,500, whatever the number is. And these Bitcoin miners, they control what's happening with the value of Bitcoin. And that's shady to me.
Yeah.
And this whole thing is shady to me.
It is.
I probably would never get into Bitcoin. So that's why the price is so volatile. And I think it's volatile because of the people, because it's just too volatile for people to get into. So this is directly from Bitcoin's website. It says, Bitcoin is an experimental new currency that is in active development. Each improvement makes Bitcoin more appealing, but also reveals new challenges as Bitcoin adoption grows. During these growth pains, you might encounter increased fees, slower confirmations, and even more severe issues. Be prepared for problems and consult your technical expert before making any major investment. Keep in mind that nobody can predict Bitcoin's future. So Bitcoin themselves admit that this is a new experimental. So
I have no problem with that.
I don't either, but don't be the idiot that remortgages their house and takes like $50,000 of their life savings and puts it all in Bitcoin, and then be surprised when Bitcoin makes some update to the software and you lose everything.
If you were going to be that idiot, you should have done it a long time ago.
You should have done it when it was $9 because it would still be worth whatever.
Right.
So the other thing too is, you can totally lose Bitcoins. There was a Big Bang Theory episode
I saw this one.
all about they lost a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I read about stories where people threw out hard drives, forgot their Bitcoins were on them.
Right.
And once they're lost, they're lost. So that also increases the demand for coins, because if you lose the key or you lose the computer or whatever, those hundreds or thousands or millions of Bitcoins are totally gone. So I would bet there's Bitcoins floating. Like my buddy, I guarantee you, he bought that $100 Bitcoins and he totally forgot about it. And they're like sitting on his old Compaq, in his mom's basement or something. So definitely before you jump on board with Bitcoin, Uncle Troy, don't remortgage your house.
Right.
You put a little bit in, you're playing around with Bitcoin, that's fine, but just be cautious. Consult your financial advisors before you make any significant investment.
One more thing. How do you spend Bitcoin?
They have to. Someone has to accept it.
They're starting to become more common.
Yeah, I noticed that.
There are sites you can go to, like Airbitz, OpenBazaar, CoinMap, to find out where you can spend them. So I went on to Airbitz and checked it out, and I found local businesses in the Pittsburgh area. There were four. Hostels, little like hipster places.
Okay, places where you need white belts when you walk in.
Right, exactly. We're not allowed in.
Or man buns.
Not surprisingly, there's a lot more online businesses that take it. Like I said, Microsoft software you can buy with Bitcoin. You can actually get gift cards on Amazon with it. So it is becoming more prevalent.
The only thing that throws me, and I know we're short on time here, but when I have, let's just say I have 20 Bitcoins. And I go to buy something.
But go ahead.
But let's just say I have 20 Bitcoins and I go to buy something. What happens if, like, right before I buy it, the Bitcoin value tanks and goes down to $9 a share again, and now I have $20 worth of Bitcoins instead of $20,000 worth of Bitcoins.
Sorry about your luck.
But how does that work with the person that's taking them? They just sold me that
They're
good.
accepting this risk as well.
Yeah, it's a huge risk on both sides with how volatile it is. Because if that TV is $100,
how's it any different than the dollar tanking?
Yeah, but the dollar isn't as volatile.
It isn't. I know. Well, it's a
nearly as
bigger risk
volatile.
return, right?
Way risk return.
Well, anyways, I think that's it. That's it for today. That's
I'm gonna
all
start
for
mining.
Cryptocurrency. You're gonna start mining. I'm gonna
start
set up
mining.
my Raspberry Pi farm. Maybe we can get a
I
pool
have
together.
my Pi. Yeah, we could pull them.
We'll pull them. It'll be
Nice.
great. If any of you have any questions about cryptocurrency, probably ask someone else. But feel free to email us at unprofessionalengineering@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes or Podbean or
Give us a
and please give us a review.
We need reviews,
and press
people.
subscribe. Oh, just press subscribe.
Press it. Press it.
Press it. All right, that's it. Until next time.
See ya.